Welcome to another episode of Bioconversations Demystifying Science. Today we will be discussing about data science. Data is the new buzzword of late, and we in biopharma industry are using and leveraging data science quite effectively. So today, to help us demystify some of the core concepts of data science, we have our guest Mr. Mayank Garg with us. Mayank currently leads the Manufacturing Sciences and Technology function at Biocon Biologics, Bangalore. Mayank comes with a deep experience of over 20 years in the biopharma industry. He's worked in various sectors and functions, starting from process sciences, R&D, moving on to tech transfer, and he has currently chaperoned the efforts in data analytics and data sciences function at Biocon Biologics, revamping the way we do work, revamping the way we do things. So Mayank, as I understand, this is your third stint at Biocon in the last 2 decades. So can you help us understand your motivation to come back to us and contributing to its and being a part of its growth story?
Okay, see, I think Biocon has shaped my career in a big way. So I joined Biocon in 2003 and I was part of the R&D. And then from R&D, I worked on various projects. I learned about science. I learned about, working about the processes. And every time I come here, I see company evolving, being more innovative, more agile. So that has been always the motivation for me to come back to Biocon.
Good, but that's very rare and actually welcoming, because each time you found a meaning whenever you have written, right?
Yes, and another attraction for me is to work with the people, because I have worked in Biocon with many people here, and people are really passionate and very knowledgeable and visionary, at Biocon. So that is another reason for me to be here. Yeah.
Glad that you are here with us sharing your experience.
Thank you very much.
As I understand, your rich experience is in process development, tech transfer, scale up, and now you're in manufacturing. But with time, you have made an intentional shift towards data science. So what was the motivation behind doing that? Did you expect data to become that big?
Well, exactly, it is not the shift, it's an evolution. Actually, the data science and digital transformation is an integral part of our work, which we do. So therefore, it becomes need for us to work with data science and digital transformation also. And see, I always been fascinated with the numbers and patterns. And over the years, we have seen that it has impacted the way we work, the way we analyze the data and solve the complex problems. So that is the reason that we are emphasizing too much on data science and digital transformation.
So for our viewers, can you please help us understand what is data science? What is data analytics? Are they the same or are they different?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, data science is a very broad term, and data science is something like understanding the data, analyzing it and making the accurate predictions, understand patterns and solving the problem. Whereas the data analytics, which is a part of the data science, where you analyze the data, you understand the problem. So you look at the history, you understand what has gone in the past and understand that why it has happened. So this is about the data analytics, whereas the data science is give you the prediction of the future. So one can say that the data analytics is looking at the history, whereas the data science is making the prediction for the future.
So retrospective versus making informed decisions.
Yes, that's right. So it is something like, being more reactive than being more proactive using the data science.
You mean being more proactive than being reactive?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So being proactive actually helps us anticipate problems earlier on. So, and basically when you go back and refer to your history, you can understand where you need to make certain improvements, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So now you also have AI and ML. AI is artificial intelligence, ML is machine learning. Do you incorporate learnings from AI and ML, and how do you use that in your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so first of all, I think we need to understand really that the AI, ML, what is the difference? What is AI? So AI is artificial intelligence, whereas ML is the machine learning. So in artificial intelligence is something where you make use of computers and take decisions where the human intelligence is required. Whereas the machine learning is training the computers to learn from the data. So you feed the data and let the computer learn and understand that data and make those patterns.
Interesting. So, when you speak about feeding data, right? So, how much data do you need to feed in order to make a decision? Say, for example, you may not, when you generate data, when you're starting out, you may not have the entire picture. So, how do you essentially feed information, and to what extent of information feeding you need to enable so that you get the meaningful value?
Yeah, understand. So that is interesting as well as tricky at the same time, because to know how much data is required for the artificial intelligence or even for machine learning, it's not that easy to say that this much data is adequate. So it depends on the complexity. So for example, you want to detect if there is an alphabet letter A, for example, right? You want to train the computer that is how A looks like. It could be simple that you just need few images to provide the computer. But if it is an image, or for example, if it is a face recognition tools, so you need to provide good amount of data to train the computers, to train the system to recognize that. So it depends on the level of complexity and what sort of problem we want to solve.
So, do you end up introducing any bias when you feed information? Do you say, for example, when you train a machine, do you train it in such a way that you get to see the desired outcomes that you desire versus what the actual output is? It's just a curiosity question.
Yes, it is always a possibility that when you feed the data, that you might feed the data in the form that the machine learning can be biased, and therefore the domain knowledge is very, very important, so that you understand the subject, you understand what problem you are trying to solve. And when you understand that, you provide the data in such a way. Of course, there are several checks and balances to understand if there is a biasness or not, and there are different type of modelings also available, so which can tell you that whether it's a biased model or not. So it depends, and therefore it requires that you need to have a deep knowledge of the process and the subject.
So, subject matter expertise is a given. So, if you understand your subject better, you would be able to train the model better. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right.
Okay. So, you are working in a manufacturing interface, so where you generate tons of data on an everyday basis. So, how do you piece this data together, and how does data science help you with analysis of those data, trending, and ensuring your manufacturing practices become robust with time?
Right. So for this, I will just take you to the past, because earlier, of course, we are generating tons of data through our manufacturing from our machines, and it becomes very, very complex and difficult to understand and interpret that information. So traditionally, the way the tools were used, it was very time consuming, and even the accuracy of the prediction was not very well. But thanks to the machine learning, when we have different tools available for machine learning, we feed the data, we provide our inputs based on our process knowledge. And with that machine learning, it has now become very easier to interpret that information and to make the models and predict things more precisely.
And that helps you make decisions, business decisions quickly.
Yes, that's right. So since we make the very precise models and we understand what is the exact problem, so it also helps us to take the decision if something goes wrong, well in advance, and therefore we can reduce our errors. Therefore, we can take very well, smarter decisions based on that machine learning output.
So this is manufacturing part of it. So you have various functions, right? In a company, you have the R&D teams, you have regulatory teams, clinical data, discovery. So how does AI, machine learning, or data science, like we call as an umbrella term, so how do these help in all of these functions? Let's go with, say, for example, drug discovery and development. Drug discovery is a very intense and a long process. So how has AI or data science helped us, accelerate that?
So drug discovery again requires a big amount of data, starting from your molecular structure, from biological data to genetic data, because you need to identify a candidate which can directly work on the disease. So you have huge amount of information which cannot be easily processed with the traditional tools. So now we have very high computational capabilities. So, and also the lot of machine learning models are available. So based on that, you can analyze that data, you can understand the genetics, you can understand the biologics data, and also understand the structure of a molecule. So based on that, you can find the right candidate, and you can reduce your time of drug discovery.
So basically, it will help in isolating that lead molecule sooner.
Yes.
Based on the fit.
Yes.
So whatever is the predictive behavior in silico, the same thing will translate in vivo as well.
Yes.
It is inside the body.
Yes, that's possible.
Largely accurate.
Yes, that's right. It is accurate, and therefore not only accurate, it makes the drugs what you identify them as a candidate is also safer at the same time.
So for this is for the drug discovery and development part of it. You have clinical data. So do you see data science making an impact in clinical trials which run over several months or sometimes years?
That is another important field where the data science or machine learning tools are being implemented, because understanding the disease, understanding the history of the patient, understanding their behavior, it helps us to decide, even to identify the patients for our clinical trials. It also helps us to track their progress, to monitor their progress, as well. It also helps us that whether if the patient is going to drop out from that clinical trial or not. So all that information can be processed in real time and provide you the valuable information, and we can conclude our clinical trial with less efforts and with more accuracy.
With less, basically make it little less cumbersome.
Cumbersome. Yes, that's right.
Now with our regulatory filings, you have multiple countries, you have multiple agencies, plethora of data from all quarters, from all functions. So how does a data science help us with navigating this? Is the burden on the regulatory team coming down because of improvements in data science and the way we incorporate these tools?
Right. So there are two parts. One is the regulatory filings are strictly governed by that particular agency in that particular country, and therefore your filing has to be strictly compliant to that particular agency. Other part is that the information coming into your dossier or filing is coming from the clinical studies as well as from your manufacturing. So fitting into that particular module, when you have to submit your dossier, it should be perfect, it should be accurate. Now, the data, with the help of data science, it can identify the errors, it can predict that there are some concerns which is not matching with your dossier. It can also look at the clinical science data and help you to build the dossier which is very much optimal for that particular filing.
Now, one of the most important questions that I have when we listen to all this, the company proprietary information, which is very integral part of it, and it is strictly guarded. So when we make data, although it is helping us in many ways, how do you ensure that the privacy is maintained, and what are the measures should one take before you completely go in using data science to understand what are the pitfalls as well? So what are the pitfalls associated with data science, right? Because it's all machines. So how do we address that?
So data safety and privacy is extremely important, especially when we deal with patient data as well as proprietary data. So it is very, very important. And there are ways like we can have very strong encryptions, we can have limited access also, and we can have regular checks and the policies, and most importantly we can have human behavior or the culture. So we can develop a culture where people understand the value of the data and its safety.
So basically it's a fine balance between understanding the privacy and being in the ambit of privacy issues. So human training and in training on intellectual property, IT, all becomes extremely important, and there has to be a constant reinforcement.
Yes, that's right. And especially the GDPR and HIPAA are actually non-negotiable in this case. So we have to follow that.
So yeah, so it basically data is as good as how you treat it. So human behavior also is extremely important, and we need to have routine checks to ensure that there are no violations.
Yes, that's right.
Correct. So now when it comes to using various tools, so what kind of investments do we need to make? because when we have to use so many platforms and so many tools and which are going to help us make all these decisions, how do we ensure that we don't have to make significant investments? Are there any other options that we can consider?
Well, many people think that for strong data science applications, we need big investments. It's expensive. A lot of hardware is required, but that is not right. Organizations can manage with the tools like, for example, Python, R, which are not very expensive. And in fact, these are open sources. So investment is not really that something companies need to worry. We just need to know that how to implement the data science. And most importantly, of course, you need people who are trained, who knows how to implement that. Moreover, industries can also collaborate with universities where a lot of people are working on it. So it's not that you need a heavy infrastructure to implement the data science.
So lastly, how does future of data science look for you, especially for our industry?
Well, future is really bright because the data science is something which everyone is moving towards, and we know that it is shaping the industry.
Data is the new oil.
Yes, that's right. You said it right. And data is a new oil, which means that you know how to use it, and to use the data in more efficient way, you need to have all those tools which can provide your data analytics in more efficient ways.
So data is not just oil, but it also extremely expensive to have. So it is so important for us to treat it right as well.
Yes, more than expensive, actually it is precious.
Precious, yeah, you're right. Yeah, data is precious, and yes. So it is important for us to treat it the right way as well.
Yes.
So before we end this particular segment, we would like to know a little bit more about you in a fun way. So what is the typical way you unwind? I mean, when you're not looking at data, what are you doing?
Well, when I'm not at work or not looking at the data, I love to sing. I love to do photography. So these are the two hobbies which I pursue.
Okay. So you lead a team of how many people here?
It's roughly 40 people.
Or if I ask all the 40 people to give one word about you or to define you as an individual or one characteristic about you, what would they say? According to you?
Well, I can think of the one word which is precise, being precise, because I look for the details and I want it to be very precise.
Devil is in the details.
Yes.
Okay. So I know human leadership, people leadership, and data management. Which one is easier?
Of course, data management for me.
Oh, okay.
Because I work with the data all the time and I understand the data, I can read the data. But the problem with the human, because it's very difficult to predict. Of course, and
data is more predictable.
Data is more predictable. But yes, now there are AI tools and the data is being gathered from the human behavior. And therefore, these machine learnings are trying to predict even the human behavior. But yes, for me to understand the data is easier than.
So when you feed human behavior, maybe it will help you make better decisions about humans as well.
So that's what I'm looking for, that if we develop the tool which can also predict the human behavior, my life will be easier.
Thank you for being with us, Mayank, today and sharing your insights on data science. It has tremendously helped us demystify the whole concept of data science, and it will probably help us in the long run in making quicker decisions and enabling faster business decisions and make medicines accessible to patients quickly.
So thank you very much for inviting me today, and it's my pleasure to be here.
And with this, we come to an end of season 1 of Bioconversations Demystifying Science. Over this season, we have taken you behind the scenes of our biologics process development and product development, right from upstream processing, downstream purification, formulation development, and analytical sciences. All these are core concepts of bringing medicines to the patients and powers the science behind everything we do. I hope you have enjoyed this journey as much as we have bringing it to you. Stay tuned for the next season. Until then, stay curious.